Hi there. Real quick before we jump into the episode. If you enjoy this episode or any of the other episodes, be sure to give us a follow or subscribe. It would also be great if you shared it with a friend, or better yet, left a review so others can know how awesome it is. Thanks so much. And now, the episode.
Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome to the Press Start Leadership Podcast, the podcast about game-changing leadership, teaching you how to get the most out of your product and development team and become the leader you were meant to be. Leadership coaching and training for the international game industry professional. Now, let me introduce you to your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher Mifsud.
Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome back to another special edition of the Press Start Leadership Podcast. On this week's edition of Press Start Leadership Podcast, Conversation with Christopher, we have illustrator, retro gamer, and collector of cool stuff, an old colleague of mine, Ryan Bowlin. Now, let's introduce you to Ryan Bowlin.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Ryan? How's it going? We're going to move some stuff around real fast. There we go.
There you go. Hey. Now I feel like I'm looking at myself.
Yeah. Well, that allows me to kind of look over this direction, and it looks like I'm looking towards you, right? I guess
got you.
Be doing
that's
more
smart.
like that, but that's, no. So anyway, welcome. So hey. I used to work with you a long time ago now, when I look back, like over 10 years ago. But nonetheless, I've been following you for quite some time. I know who you are, but our listeners and our viewers probably don't. So, maybe they do. Who knows? Maybe they're catching in because they love Ryan Bowlin. I have a lot of fans that do that. So, big time Ryan Bowlin fans, thanks for joining us on Press Start Leadership Podcast. But I'd love to know what your origin story is. Where did the Ryan Bowlin come from, and how did he become who he is today? Tell us.
Oh man, well, when a man loves a woman very much, wait, that's not this talk. I am from the Midwest, not this talk. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised here in St. Louis, and grew up loving artwork and all things geeky. And I just, over the years, I always drew and had a knack for art and pursued that. Pursued some other things as well, went down some other paths, but eventually started back down on the fine art path and, working in games. And my origin story is weird. Yeah. I guess normal, weirdly normal. I don't know. That's normal for an artist, I suppose.
Yeah, normal for you, right? I mean, that makes sense. But like, what are you like? So tell us, like, what are you up to now? Like, you're an illustrator. Like I kind of mentioned, like you're a retro gamer. You can see in the background there. I know you're a collectible, very cool thing. Especially, I'm envious of your Ghostbusters and your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. And it's pretty sweet. But what have you been up to? Since your origin and the 10 years ago since I last saw you, what have you been up to?
Well, I mean, we were stuck in Las Vegas we used to work at the video game studio in Las Vegas, and that abruptly closed, which seems to happen sometimes in the video game industry.
Too often, I hate to say, too often. Yeah, I wish it was more rare than it actually is.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but I was stuck there, newly married, only a year married, and trying to figure out like where I would go from there. And only had a few years of experience in games at that point. And a friend of mine, turned me on to the slot games industry because I was in Vegas already, and I thought that it would be kind of like a stopgap industry for me. Now I started working there, kind of thinking it would just be something I did for a little while, and now I've spent like 10 years. I've been making slot games, worked on actual casino product, like stuff you would see at a casino. And what I do now currently is create slot games. I'm a lead artist at a company developing, free-to-play slot games for mobile apps. So not actually like real gambling, just, fun stuff that grandmas like to play.
They do, man. They do. They love it. They really do.
Yeah.
So, Well, that's very
yeah. But
cool.
I mean, as far as
Mhm.
as far as the collecting goes and all that kind of stuff, like, kind of goes back to my origin story. All the stuff that I loved as a kid. Honestly, art and everything I do kind of started probably similar with a lot of us. Like
Mhm.
the things that I loved growing up, it made me want to sit down and draw and craft all this stuff or make my own worlds or create all these sorts of things, and kind of influenced the direction of my path as an adult. And I held on to it. You grow up and everybody tells you, well, you can't make a living out of this. You can't draw pictures, especially in the Midwest here. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of opportunities here. But I just held on and just kept pushing and eventually just practicing and doing all that sort of stuff. And made my way to that. But now as an adult, it's hilarious. Like now you have a little extra cash and you can buy all these knickknacks and all these little toys that you couldn't have when you were a kid and kind of relive some of that nostalgia. It's
Disposable
fun.
income.
Yeah. And a wife who's very
Forgiving.
graceful. Yeah.
Yeah, that helps too. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I was laughing because I was seeing your Instagram story today, and you shoot a lot of Instagram stories and videos of the stuff you're doing and the games you're playing, and I like the one today, which is she caught you videoing your screen, so then as she's walking in, you got her too. But that's awesome.
Yeah, it's never not embarrassing. Like it's like I am talking to a screen like a teenage Instagrammer. Like it is a little dorky. I'll get it. Yeah,
100%. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. No, I talk to people all the time. They're like, so how would you describe it? I was like, I'm just a big kid. That's the best way to describe myself. And I've never grown up and I don't want to. And I think we live in a world where that's okay. Like literally you can make a living being a big kid, doing the things big kids want to do. And, still keep playing video games. Don't change that, collect action figures, that posters of Baby Yoda on your wall, whatever you want, or have a full arcade system behind you. I mean, it's a good life.
I wear it like a badge of honor. I do kind of think about it sometimes. Like as I have two little kids, I have a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. And they're starting to get to the age where they're like, why are you keeping these things in boxes? Like, why are you why they'll come in my office. And if they ask to play with things, like how can I not just like give them what these are toys, they're meant to be played with. So some stuff I have started relinquishing some of those things, sharing some of that stuff. Wow, but yeah, it is a little.
That's nice. I grew up in a comic book store. My dad actually owned a comic book store, and so
awesome.
it's awesome. But I was not allowed to open all the toys, and I got a lot of toys. And then as I grew older, a lot of those toys got sold in the comic book store. So, that was the circle of life I learned about is you get these toys now, and now they're gonna go here on display case and be sold.
Yeah, now this is valuable, and Daddy's gonna make a couple bucks off of it.
Exactly. So
yeah, it's hard because some of the stuff does bring value. I had some amiibos that my daughter wanted for the longest time, and I don't know if you follow any of that, but some of the amiibos now are
really pricey. Yeah.
And so but she just kept wanting them, and I was just like, you know what, what am I doing? Like sometimes I have, like you talked about my Ninja Turtle collection, and I think, do I want to be the grandpa with the room with the Ninja Turtles? Like, do I want to be that grandpa?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. There's no shame. No shame.
I used to have an illustration professor in college who was amazing, man. And his name was Bill Van, and he worked on like all these ad campaigns in St. Louis, like Budweiser and all these different things. Like he was well-known illustrator here, and he took us to his studio, and it was like a whole house, and it was just full of like all just awesome art and prints and collectibles, and it kind of like made me feel a little bit like better about what a dork I'd become. I feel like I can, because I do what I do, I feel like I can kind of like sweep it under the rug a little bit.
You can.
That's my excuse.
100%. No. I blame my parents. I grew up with a lot. You remember that movie Independence Day with Will Smith and everything? Yeah, so we had a life-size Independence Day alien in our living room for the longest time when the store like closed down, and then it was like
I love this.
Yeah. So I grew up with this kind of stuff around me all the time. It was like, it's just normal to me. But then like I realized as I got older, I was like, oh, not everybody is a complete dork. But everyone is a complete dork, sort of, right? Like being nerd's cool
for
and
something.
Like, yeah, for something.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have friends who are dorks about cars and or dorks about sports or whatever. So yeah, we all have our things. Some some in society's eyes, it's or wives, other people's wives. That's where I feel the most judgment. Like you let your husband do that? Like,
yeah, no. Until my wife met me, she never watched a single Marvel movie or Star Wars or any of that stuff. But now she kind of enjoys it. I won't say she likes them or loves them or anything like that, but she kind of enjoys them. But that is the one nice thing about I met my wife in college, and she is also an artist. She mostly does photography these days, but she used to paint and draw a lot. But she's also a big dork, not as dorky as me. She doesn't quite go there as much as I do. But yeah, she's into a lot of the same stuff. So that helps a lot. Sure, it does. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, very cool. So you mentioned now you're a lead artist. So that leads me to my next question, which this. Though I on the conversation with Christopher, I tend to talk about things that like all over the place, but I do like to still hit on a couple of the pillars, as I call them, for Press Start Leadership, which is leadership, and so and games and stuff like that. But as a leader, or just in general, how would you define good leadership?
I think I mentioned this to you once before, but I never really wanted to be a lead, or I never set out for it. It was just something that kind of came to me, and it's come with its own set of challenges. But I just try. So I'm not an expert in leadership. Would not say that I'm an expert, but I will say that one of the things that I've learned during my time was I try to just lead how I would like to be led. Basically, just treat people how I would like to be treated.
That's awesome.
If you're a lot of times I'll work on something or create something, and you show it to somebody and you just get it like a thumbs up or like, yeah, it looks cool, man, like whatever. And it's like so deflating because as an artist, you spend so much time like crafting this thing and like thinking about it and processing it. And then to not really, it's to not get a reaction or to not get like that sort of like, excitement. It's like, it's part of it is like performance art, right? Like even though you're creating like something for somebody to look at, it's performance. Like it's like I want to show you what I've like, here's what I've been doing, and to get like no response. And so like for my artists, a lot of times I try to like really drive home like what I think, what are the things that I really love about what they're doing. Try to be excited about because I want people to be excited about what I'm doing. I just want to be excited about what they're doing. And so, but also be honest and vulnerable and not necessarily be like a jerk, just be honest and straightforward. And I like to leave all the cards.
Don't be a jerk. Never be a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no point in that. Right.
Yeah.
What's the best Oh, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, but another thing that I also feel very strongly about is just leaving all the cards on the table and just being like, just completely open. And like, I find that like, I'm the type of person I am is like, I don't like drama and I don't like to, I don't want to have to like, keep re-engaging like issues. Like it's so much easier if we can just, you say how you feel, I'll say how I feel. Let's hash this out and like get it moving. And I find a lot of times it's hard when people or me, like if I try to like hold back or I just have to be myself and just be open and honest. And that helps a lot too. Cause communication, right? I told you I'm not an expert in this leadership thing.
Well, you know what? For not being a so-called expert, you've already hit on two of the big things: is being a leader that you'd want, and communication. Communication, I think, is 100% one of the top skills that, as a leader, if you have that down, or at least like realize that it's important and continue to perfect it, that you will succeed so much better. And I think a lot of folks who maybe don't have leadership training and so forth, if they're good communicators, that tends to be how they end up sometimes in the situations they are, which is fine because you're a bridge between people, right? Like you're communicating for people and everything like that. And that's kind of what a leader needs to do is be a good communicator. So if you want to be a leader and you're not a good communicator, I would work on that first and foremost. That's for sure. That's yeah. And if you are a good communicator, then at least you've got an edge going in your favor. But there's still
I don't know that I am a good communicator, but I will communicate. So I will talk And I will try. I don't know if it's good or not. Yeah.
Try. I mean, let's not listen to Yoda on that one. That's for
Do
sure.
or do not.
Do or not.
Yeah.
Don't try. Cool. That's awesome. I just one thing is like, so I think giving people positive feedback and so forth and communicating and letting them know, I wanted to go back to that a little bit. So I know a lot of leaders or just managers don't actually always give feedback. And I think you like, can you give like some example or like even just one example of like someone's response to actually getting feedback? Because I think it's so rare that people get good feedback. And I'm pretty sure the examples you'll tell are probably very positive and very, very encouraging. And I would love people to take note to like what the power of positive feedback or the power of positivity, as I've said before. So, yeah.
Well, it's really tough working. Like I work from home, and so we have a team in Las Vegas and a team in Kiev, Ukraine. We work with offices around the world, but I'm leading from here, from the command center, and so it's kind of tough.
It's a cool command center.
I have to surround myself with things to make me happy. I don't know what it is. It's like a dragon's treasure hoard or something. But it is tough. I prefer working in an office. I've been doing remote work for about 7 years now. And I definitely prefer being with people, like in people's cubicles, like hanging out with them, like working back and forth. Mm-hmm. It's much more exciting. But I went to Ukraine a couple of years ago, and these are people who I hadn't really spent a lot of time talking with, like over calls and stuff, because there was some artists, there are language barriers, and so we usually have leads over there that work as in-betweens and that sort of thing. And I try to write like feedback to sort of like show my like excitement or like what things I really liked. Like, oh, I love this sparkle where you had it like come off this after this light sweep, like looks so rad, like super good attention to detail. Like that was so cool. Or like this dolphin jumping up looked awesome, So I try to like to say those things through my fingers, like when I'm typing to them, but I don't know if it's coming across all the time. Right. And so it was so cool. Like when they first brought us into the office, they walked around and the artists were showing me what they were doing in real time. And I was there being able to like give feedback in person to everybody. And the looks on their faces, they were so excited, like happy that like somebody, I realized that like what was happening, like what I was typing and what I was saying, like all that was worth it. And it was getting across like, and it was encouraging. I guess that's really the thing, right? Like, I just want to encourage them. I want to empower them to do cool stuff. Like I want them to make awesome stuff. I want them to want to make awesome stuff. And if you don't show interest, they're not going to show interest. You know what I mean? So
no, exactly.
Yeah, it was really neat. Like when after we stepped out of that, out away from that, like the lead came to me and he was like, man, they really loved like, seeing in real time your reactions. And, I guess I'm naturally like expressive, I guess, anyways.
A little bit. Yeah.
So dramatic. I don't know. I guess I am. I do like drama, but I get excited about things easily, I guess.
Flamboyant.
There you go. Flamboyant. Yeah.
There you go.
So it was cool to see that like that they had already been receiving that feedback from me overseas, and that it was hitting home. That really meant a lot to me. Yeah.
And I'm sure it meant even more to them, to be honest. So I think that's really the key, right? Like, if you treat your employees right, they'll love the product, right? Like people who feel excited about what they're doing, it shows in the products that they produce. I know maybe some people don't understand that, but it's just like if you make your people miserable, right? They'll make something. They'll make the product, but it won't. But if you make people super happy, man, you'll see that in the product. I mean,
you get to a certain level too, and you may have found this with yourself. Like now that I'm in a lead position, the guys that work above me, there's just an expectation that I'm going to do good work, or work that they're happy with. Right. And so there's not a lot of praise or a lot of, excitedness. It's like, okay, cool. It works. Like, I like it. And it's hard. It's a little deflating even for me. And so I have to find my own ways 100%. To be excited about what I'm doing. So yeah, it's something I've brought up in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, guys, give me something to work with here.
100%. No, I eat a praise just as much as anybody else. It's definitely one of the things but again, I think for me, and I think kind of the way you were talking about it, like I just projected that differently. So like, or the same way you did, like I give it to other people because I know I would want it. And so, like you said, be the leader that you would want, right? So, exactly. I give the praise to the people to let them know. And it's tricky because it's tough because some people kind of read into it. They're like, is this person, full of it, or are they really meaning what they're saying? So it's also finding a good balance of where, but if you're sincere and you're true to it, which I believe you are 100%, then the people are going to love that, So.
Yeah.
All right.
It definitely is. It helps.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Serious question now. What's your favorite type of donut?
Chocolate Long John. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't. Please tell me in detail.
I think they call them bars in other places. They call them, it's like a chocolate iced bar. It's more donut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want more donut.
Yeah.
And it gets slathered in chocolate on the top, which is pretty basic.
Is it filled with anything or no?
It's not filled with anything. No. But I mean, look, man, I'm a fat guy and I'm totally into any type of donut you will throw at me. I will consume it.
Sure, me too. Yeah.
But if I have to choose, that's my one.
That's your one.
It lasts longer. It's a long rectangular donut with chocolate icing on the top.
I'm getting it. It's sort of like an empty eclair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just like that the experience lasts longer.
That seems like it would disappoint me. Is it a chocolate donut as well, or is it an actual or is it more like it's a classic? It's a classic with chocolate icing, huh? All right. I'll have to check this out.
Your audio cut out.
Did it? Oh no, is it still there? Or is it?
There you are.
Okay.
Now you're there. You're good.
All right. Good.
It's all good.
Now we have to check that out. All right.
So you need a filled donut. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm a filled donut. Yeah, I'm a Boston cream, chocolate filled, like powdered, like not the lemon though. That's BS. Like you put
no fruits.
No raspberry, no strawberry, no. It's like chocolate or Boston cream. Like that's maybe Bavarian cream too, I guess, to a point.
But like I've got to a point now where I'm kind of real. Like this seems like so obvious because like every cartoon as a kid, you saw the cop dipping in the don't get the donuts in the coffee.
Oh yeah.
But that's kind of like a thing I came to late in the game. But that is a game changer for a donut.
Well, it's probably
I don't win a bunch of stuff in there.
You probably didn't drink a lot of coffee when you were a kid, so
that's probably true. Yeah, but it is like that's why I think I want a simpler donut experience because I want to dunk that baby in there.
No, I got it. Yeah. Nice stuff.
I'll take a filled one though. Custard filled donuts.
Custard fills. Yeah. See, there you go.
Fun fact.
Oh. Go on.
Do you remember the Hostess Ninja Turtle pies? Do you remember those?
Vaguely, but it was like green. They had custard, and it was green, but like a green icing, right? But it was like super solid icing too. It wasn't like
yes.
Yeah, it was almost like a ceramic icing.
Yeah, I think that I don't remember. I feel like the custard was green as well, but maybe I'm misremembering that. But I remember you're right. The icing had like a green hue to it over the cake.
Yeah, over the cake.
I need to bring it back. That's all I'm saying. This is the podcast. I'm putting it out there into the world. Bring it back.
There's so many things are becoming nostalgic and coming back like that I didn't think ever would. Like lots of stuff. I can't even think like probably as long as they don't bring back that what was that bubble drink back in the day? It was like I used to remember the stupid name of it. It wasn't like it was Orbits. Yes, as long as they don't bring that back, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah. There's two things. I have two. We're really off topic here, but I have two wishes for the world. Bring this to me. Well, they already gave me Crystal Pepsi again. That was a blessing. Thank you, Pepsi Lords. I want pizzeria chips. Do you remember those pizzerias?
Remember pizzeria chips? Yep.
Freaking delicious, dude.
They were
Smurfs.
They were strangely delicious. Yeah.
They're so good. And the texture of them was like chef's kiss. It was beautiful. And Smurf cereal. I want Smurf cereal.
I remember Smurf cereal.
So
that was
that's my jam. Yeah.
I don't know how healthy it was for us, but it was
not
good.
Healthy.
No.
Not healthy.
One of my friends posted about which I liked more, which was like shark bites or I don't remember what the other one. It didn't matter because Shark Bites won in my opinion. And I forgot about Shark Bites. I was like, they were like they're not good but not bad, like gummy bears.
You just wanted the blue one. You wanted that blue shark. He was the best, right?
It was pretty tasty. Yeah, blue flavor was the best. I will go for that. Yeah, it's true
for sure.
All right.
See, you came here for retro crap, and now I'm talking about retro
food. Retro food. It's true. It's true. So favorite system, and I know this is going to be hard because I know you collect like a billion systems. So favorite system of all time, and then current system that you're loving on.
I lost your audio again.
Favorite system of all time, and current system, video game.
Favorite current system.
No, favorite of all time though, like past, and then you can go to current.
Past. Okay.
Past
all
first.
Right. This is hard, and I really had to think about this question because I mean, honestly, I never had a Super Nintendo, but I love the Super Nintendo now.
It was
I played
amazing.
At friends' houses.
Yeah, it was amazing. I played the Genesis system at friends' house. I was happy to have a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I was not a huge Genesis guy. I mean, I like Sonic as much as the next guy.
Sure.
I was a Nintendo kid, like a regular Nintendo. Like my parents didn't get us. They got my sister. She's much younger than me. They got her a Super Nintendo when I was like in high school. So I didn't have access to a Super Nintendo in my house for a long time.
Gotcha.
Probably until I had a PlayStation. I know this is going to be kind of sacrilegious, but I was thinking about this, and I think if I had to choose one retro system, and this is
TurboGrafx 16.
I feel bad about that. No, not even. No. I'd probably go NES, but I think what I will go, like what my definitive decision is I'm going to go DS, 3DS.
Ooh. I see.
Because that has the best library. Like you have access. If I have to choose a system to keep with me forever, it's got to be that. Like I can play GBA games on a DS. I can play DS games with the Nintendo DS. Like has an insane library of games. I can play all the DS games. It was out
for a while. So it should have one. Yeah.
You can play all the DS games on the 3DS system. But I think like in general, probably like the system that I enjoyed the most is probably that DS. Like I absolutely love it. And I didn't really realize that until I got older, like how much handhelds, like so once I had a system that was a handheld that could do what those systems could do, oh man, there's been nothing that's topped it since, which kind of leads me into probably the system that I like the most now. And I have them all and I love them all, but I love my Nintendo Switch the most.
I hear it's a thing. I don't have it.
Yeah.
But I played it.
You don't have one?
Nice. I don't have one. So I almost bought one before I went to Costa Rica. And then I was like, I'm only going to be in Costa Rica for 11 days. I don't need to bring a Nintendo Switch with me. And then I got trapped there for 4 months.
Oh my gosh!
And I regretted not having a Nintendo Switch with me that time. But that's it. Since then, no, I haven't thought about it. But I need to. My wife will disagree with me, but I need to pick up. Like she likes all the Nintendo games, and like she's more familiar with Nintendo games. So I feel like getting a Switch would be like, it's fun for her too. Probably not. But I'll use that as my excuse when I make that purchase. I'll say,
Yeah, I think that
you did not hear that here. I did not.
Okay, I will tell anyone. Don't worry about it. I think that part of the thing that I loved about the DS and those handhelds, like when I was a kid, was I could play wherever I wanted on my own terms. Like away from my parents, or wherever I wanted to be.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny that now, like in the situation where like I'm a parent of myself and I have wives and kids, and I can go and like hide in like the nooks of my house and play my video. It's the same benefits, and I didn't realize how much I loved it, but I do.
It's handy. So. It's handy. It's definitely handy. So what about favorite game?
I lost your audio again.
Oh no!
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's with either. What about favorite game?
Still don't have yet.
Game. Favorite game. No, favorite game? Oh, no.
I can see that you're talking, but it's not showing up. Hold on, let me check. I still should be connected. Everything should be good.
Yeah, you're there. I see you.
There you go.
Oh, you hear me?
There you go.
All right. Favorite game. Favorite game. We're going to do that. There you go.
My favorite game of all time.
Yeah, we'll go for all time. Yeah. Breath of the Wild. What? Yeah. Tell us why. Yeah. I'm not surprised you Nintendo fanboy, but go on. Continue.
I know. Well, I have Zelda the Hyrulean crest tattooed on my arm.
Well, that's
so that should give it away.
That should give a little bit, yeah.
When I think before Breath of the Wild came out, if you would have asked me, I probably would have told you Ocarina of Time. That was like a big one for me. I worked at Walmart Electronics when that game came out, and I was able to like hold one back for myself, and my mom bought it for me so I could have it for Christmas. It was amazing, and I spent the whole Christmas playing it, and I love that game. And then after that, I played the next time that shifted was Wind Waker, and man, I know that was very much like a game that like either you loved it or you hated it. And it wasn't perfect either.
Polarizing.
Yeah, very polarizing.
Yeah.
But I love the art style, and I came to that a little bit late too. I played it like a few years after it came out. But I mean,
you still paid full price for it nonetheless, right? Because
yes,
that's how Nintendo rolls. For sure. Thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah, for sure. But Breath of the Wild, man, like I was not sure that it was going to be a game that I would like. I was worried they were going to water it down, but just the atmosphere. And you don't have a Switch, so you haven't played it yet, right? So you haven't played that game, right? You never played it.
I've seen. It looks beautiful. I like to look at like the art of it.
I can't hear you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you froze for a second. It's all good. It's all good. Now you're good.
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
All right.
The open world aspect of that game was just so incredible, and like it was a game where like the kids would all go to bed, and I would just pop it on, get the surround sound going, and I just like the music and the audio. Like it was just so chill until you saw a villain, and then it was like a little more exciting. But like something about just exploring that world, and I kid you not, like I played that game, I did every temple in that game, and I was still finding stuff that I didn't know. Like I wandered like this whole environment like for hours and hours and hours. I think I easily clocked over 100 hours in that thing, and I was still finding secrets and new stuff. Like I was like, where did I didn't even know this was here. Like I would come and find places, and I'd be like, how did I miss this? So there's like a real magic to that sense of discovery. Yeah. So fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new one too. It's going to be interesting. It seems like some of the ideas that they supposedly like tossed away with the floating islands and all this kind of stuff. They if you have the nerdy art book, it talks about like some of the floating island stuff. Like these were things that I think that they had sort of set aside. Like, oh, this is like beyond the scope of this project. We just can't do all this stuff. Well, now it looks like they're bringing some of that stuff back. So
that's kind of fun.
I'm excited.
That's actually fun because there's a lot of times that stuff gets just lost. Right. Yeah. It's like stories that you hear about later on and like, oh, we wanted to do this with this thing. But it's kind of cool actually to see them actually continue on and building off of the stuff that they weren't able to do before. So that's pretty neat. Very neat. Yeah.
Another idea that they had that they didn't realize in the first game, which I kind of hope, fingers crossed, that they do it, is they wanted a way for Link to like shrink down and have like these little miniature villages and stuff. Kind of like Minish Cap, if you've ever played that game, where he's kind of like a tiny Link. They kind of discuss that, and I don't know. There's something about like me being a huge dork and like a huge fantasy geek that like I love the idea of like gnomes and fairies and dwarves and tiny little creatures. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to walk into a tiny village in The Legend of Zelda and see all these tiny little critters walking around. Like that sounds amazing. So I really hope that
you like the Smurfs a lot, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I think I have one right here, which is kind of hilarious.
There you go. See,
I do like the Smurfs.
One of my favorite games on the ColecoVision back in the day was the Smurf game. So I think it was the only game I liked on the ColecoVision, to be honest. But
yeah,
that might not.
What's your favorite system?
My favorite system is the Super NES.
I lost your audio again. Oh, no. Every time I ask you a question.
Super NES. But I joked about the TurboGrafx 16 because I had one and I actually love the shit out of. Wow, whatever. I curse all the time on this thing. You've been good. I haven't. So like Slaughterhouse and Bonk's Adventure, like some of the games were just like really, I don't want to say edgy, but they were fun. And I have to say, like my favorite game of all time is the Super NES game though. It's Ogre Battle. That game was because it had so many. It had like different choices at the beginning of the game, which pretty much determined a lot of how your ending ended up being. And you had multiple endings. And back on the Super Nintendo, other than like Chrono Trigger, there were very few multiple ending games. Like pretty much everything was very set. And this was like a cool like battle game where like you like develop like your army could like develop in different directions and stuff like that. It, like a lot of the
it's a tactics game, right?
It's a tactics game, yeah, but like with RPG elements in it. So it was, I think, revolutionary at the time. And it holds up. I've played it in the recently and so forth. I like playing it. So actually Shadowrun for the Super NES was pretty cool too. It was like I'm very familiar with the Shadowrun role playing game. It was like nothing like that, but it was like it's like, oh, let's take all the things that you can do in the Shadowrun game and make your character be able to do it, which you can't do in the and then it had like a weird, crazy story and stuff like that. Like Super NES actually had a pretty awesome library of games, and they were doing some pretty fun stuff with licensed stuff. The licensed games on the Super NES did not suck. Like they kind of like it took a long time. I mean, after that they started to, and it took a long time to get like good games like Batman and stuff like Arkham City and stuff like that out. But
yeah, we lived like in a heyday where like as I was like a late elementary school, middle school when the Super Nintendo was blowing up, and like Lion King and Aladdin. Like I played a lot of those Disney games that came out for that system. Were really
and they were
fun,
super
really
cool.
hard.
The Star Wars ones, like the Super Star Wars was like insane and fun. Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah, the SNES is probably it's up there among some of the best libraries for sure. I mean, you got Chrono Trigger, like you said. Yeah. I've been playing through Final Fantasy 3, and I keep like setting it down and forgetting like where I left off. So you got to start from over again.
It sucks, yeah. Because if I like delete the tab out, like I have the walkthrough sometimes, like so I kind of like that's my frame of reference. But yeah, it's been like 6 months now, so it's like, but I'm close to the end. I feel like, and I'm like, every time I go back to it, I'm like, what was I doing? You forget like the modern conveniences of games now is like so much.
Oh, they hold your hand.
It's kind of nice.
It is nice. It is nice. Trust me. No, as an old person, I rely on that now. Like I was not a fan of like the 90s style of games where like you needed to like lose to like you had to lose and like be defeated in order to figure out like I know people love the Dark Souls games. They are not for me. I do not like there was that Alice Return to Madness, and I like the American McGee and I like his visuals. But that game was so like it came out in 2000 something, but it was such a 90s style. Like in order to actually complete a level, you had to like lose in order to learn the path you had to go. I was like, come on, give people a chance to actually be able to like do it on a try. Like that's why I don't like racing games. Racing games are just memorization, right? Like the driving games, like you literally like you have to lose multiple times until you just learn the pattern, and then it's just a pattern game. Like I don't, not for me.
But have you ever played Forza?
I have.
So in Forza, you make a mistake, you can immediately zip back, like rewind.
Yeah,
for
that's
I love it.
That takes a little bit more skill than I've got, but it's not
that hard.
It's
a button press.
It's a button press, but still, I have no coordination. I play everything on easy. No, but I like the crew. Like I like the concept of the crew, and I own both of them. Stupidly,
yeah.
And the problem is I always get to a point where like I just can't do it. And the problem in the first one was there was a story, and the story just stalls if you can't get past a certain board. You're just like, well, no more story for you, and you can't memorize this path, and screw you. And I was like,
that's tough.
Yeah, I got angry. But
I prefer the more arcadey racers like Burnout. Like some of the Burnout stuff where you like ramming into people. Like it's more of a multiplayer thing for me. Like I don't. Yeah, the crew had like you said, has like a narrative to it and stuff. So, but
crew
not a
one,
lot of
crew,
them do.
Crew two, they threw that fucking out. They were like, nope. Okay, now it's MTV.
We need more arcade racers.
That'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. So, next important question: what do you put on your hot dog?
Oh man, if I have to choose, there's only one thing, and that's chili and cheese and onions. I'll put some jalapenos on there too if you got it. Chili cheese dog, man.
Chili cheese dog. All right. I like how you're like only one thing, and you're like chili, cheese, onions.
I need like a trifecta there.
Yeah, but all this thing. But if you just call it chili cheese dog, that's exactly what it is, right? So that is one thing.
Can I say that? Is that a fair answer?
It's 100% fair answer. As long as you don't put ketchup on it, I'm cool with you. So
no,
it's all right.
Well, if I'm in a pinch, I'm okay with it. I mean, I'll do ketchup. I'm condiment, like I'm good with all condiments.
Most condiment agnostic.
Yeah,
You're like
exactly.
All right, fair enough.
But
fair enough.
I think in Chicago they have, and I think you find this like in like Wisconsin or some of these places where they are connoisseurs of cheese.
Yes.
There's a place in Evanston, Illinois. Yeah, cheese curds. They have a place called Mustard's Last Stand. It's close to like where my wife's family all like lives and stuff. And they have the best chili cheese dog I've ever had. And they have this like coarse, like grainy, liquid cheddar cheese sauce that they put on there with the stuff, and it's like so rich. And I've being in St. Louis, I have not found it here, so
all right,
it makes me sad. I need to find it. It's delicious.
And it was called Mustard's Last Stand, which already gets my vote because mustard is the best condiment for hot dogs. If you don't go for chili, even if you put chili on it, I would still put mustard. I would put a little bit of mustard across, and then put the chili on top of that, and then layer it on. Yeah,
wow, a little mustard and chili.
Yeah, little bite in there.
Wow, you like that? Yeah,
yeah.
I think I'd go if you get some jalapenos or some like pepper stuff. I do like peppers, so I do like a little bite. But yeah, mustard's not my biggest thing.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's still better than ketchup. I have a distinct hate for ketchup. That's not true. Ketchup on a hamburger is fine.
Yeah,
but on a freaking hot dog, there's no justification for it.
Now, I'm a fan of the ketchup mayo mix, not on a hot dog.
No, but on a hamburger. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Or like fries. Yep, mix 100%. Mayo and ketchup together.
Mayo in general for French fries is amazing, and something I picked up when I was living in New Orleans. And in Europe, it's huge. So living in Europe now, it's easy for me to justify. Nobody looks at me strange. When I was living anywhere outside of New Orleans, people would be like, "Why are you using mayo without the ketchup? Just mayo and straight up mayo and French fries." I'm like, "It's a thing. Get over it." And they're like,
"Good,
oh,
yeah,
it's straight up good."
No, I'm with you.
All right, so
more mayo, please.
More mayo, 100%. Like today, okay, we're big guys. We're talking. It's cool. So mayo, like I was having lunch today, and what was it? It was delicious. Oh, it was like a chicken cordon bleu, and I put mayonnaise on top of it too. And my wife, exactly, and my wife was looking at me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm putting mayo on it." And she's like, "That much mayo?" I'm like, "Listen, this is just a delivery device for mayonnaise into my belly. Like I'm just using the chicken cordon bleu as an excuse for the mayonnaise. Like literally, if I could just eat mayonnaise justifiably and with some nutritional value, I would do that. But for some strange reason, I have to eat I'm no shame here.
Well, it's kind of tough because like I am a dude who I'm an emotional eater. I love
me too.
Nostalgia. My nostalgia is tied to food. Like I love food. I have a bad relationship with food. You've been following me for a little while. Since October, I've been trying to.
Let's talk about that. That is an amazing journey, my friend. Yeah. Talk about that. So we're talking about being big dudes, but Ryan's actually been on a amazing health journey for quite for a little while now, and it's a amazing one too. So yeah. Yeah,
it's funny because like on my Instagram, if you follow my Instagram, I was like, I'm a big like proponent of pizza rolls and I go to fast food places, I try stuff, I love garbage food, and basically I was just feeling like trash, and I just started thinking like we're in this pandemic, like if I'm going to do anything about this, I'm going to be 40 next year. And my wife says it was kind of like my midlife crisis. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to make a run at this. And basically, last October, I just kind of buckled down. I got an elliptical and I started there and just like making myself go downstairs into the basement and sweat for like an hour or so every day. And
do you listen to music or watch stuff, or how do you get through it? Or do you just like you're in the zone and it doesn't matter? Or do you need some? No, okay. I can't do that either. So,
no. Yeah. So I watched all of the Clone Wars doing which is I'd never seen all. That's a lot.
It is. I watched all of it without doing that. And I probably should have. Oh, Gundam Wing. All right. Good stuff. All right.
Yeah, it is. I watched all of Gundam Wing because that was like a thing I liked as a kid, and I never watched all of it. And I thought, well, here I am. I have Hulu. I will probably never be able to watch this like with my wife, and I'm stuck on this elliptical. So I watched all that, and Yeah, I've been. I'm trying to think. There's been other shows too. I mean, I've gotten through like several series, like that new Dota series on Netflix. Have
Yeah,
you watched that?
you were saying it
Way
was really
good.
good though. Yeah, I have to check it out.
Yeah, way
Let's check it
good.
out.
So good, dude. Yeah, I think it's like one of the guys involved in it was also involved with the Last Airbender, the Avatar TV show, the kids
Ooh.
show. It's Brian Kanekio or can oh that's not good, but yeah, he's Brian K. I'll call him. He's involved with it, and it kind of feels like an adult version of the Dragon Prince, which is another show that I think some of the Avatar people are associated with.
Yeah,
It's also
awesome.
very good.
Yeah, very good.
Very good. Yeah. But yeah, so I do. I started off just doing cardio and was pushing on it, and then gradually I got the resistance bands.
Yeah,
and now
I've got those in a box behind me somewhere.
Too.
Yeah, no, that's good. But you do the.
But I just do it every day.
You do the Wii Ring too, right?
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing I started doing. That's kind of like what propelled me into this. Was it? My kids liked that I did it, and my kids would play not the Wii Ring, but it was like Switch. Wow, they just were doing it today. Ring Fit Pro.
Ring Fit Pro. There you go. Yes. The Ring Fit, not Wii Fit. Yeah, Ring Fit. Yeah. Not what I was saying at all.
Yeah,
but yes,
and that was hard. Like I weighed 360 pounds when I started in October, and now I'm down to about 281. Today I was at 281, so I'm about 80 pounds lighter, which is great.
That's like a middle school child. That's amazing.
Yeah. But I cannot attribute it to Ring Fit. Basically, like Ring Fit was like kind of like my gateway into it. Like it was like, wow, this should not be this hard for you. Like you're gonna die if you don't do something. With Ring Fit, it's so much fun how they gamify it, and it's been really nice with the kids. Like because we've been homeschooling my daughter this year because of COVID and stuff. She'll be going back next year, but that was like a gym class. She could sit there and I showed her how to do all of it, and it was really fun. It is a workout, but it's just not a good like use of time. It takes way longer to do a workout using Ring Fit than it does for me to get on elliptical for 45 minutes.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, but the other thing I did was. Another thing I did was just I just counted my calories and kept myself in a caloric deficit. I just try to eat like, 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day. But that takes me back to our mayonnaise talk. And holy cow, mayonnaise is highly caloric.
Yeah, highly caloric. Highly caloric. It's true.
Which breaks my heart, which breaks my fat heart. I'm still fat. I still want to do all the things that fat people do. But, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Exactly. So I always like to have folks talk about like, you talked about your origin story, you talked about what you're doing nowadays. It's someone who is an illustrator and wants to get into the video game industry or just be a professional artist in general. What would you recommend to those folks out there?
Man, it's funny. I feel like we've hardly talked about any of that. But
well, we did.
We talked about the stuff I wanted to talk about, I guess.
Me too.
Yeah, kind of something I know is a core tenet for you, and this is unrelated to art, but just be a nice person, be good to people, I guess is what I would say. Like that's the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything and you want to get involved in any sort of industry, people want to work with. I'd rather work with somebody who is a good person and somebody who I know I can rely on, versus somebody who's going to be difficult to work with and is a rock star. So 100%. That's my first thing.
100%. I agree with that 100%. I'd much rather work with a personable person who does good work versus someone who's complete asshole who does really great work. It's just not worth it. It's not, So and it's a small, this industry, especially games or mobile development or whatever, it's a small industry, and so people remember the people who are assholes, sadly, or not sadly. I don't know. Not sadly. No, it's good. It's good. Karma. Yeah. I mean, they still get by here and there, but after a while, it is a small world. Having lived all around it, it is a very small world. I like seeing the connections of people and stuff like that all over that. Like you talking about working with the team in Kiev and stuff like that. I've worked with multiple teams in Kiev. I understand it's like they all know each other too, which is not surprising. And like,
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
As far as, yeah, exactly. That's like step number one for life, right?
Yeah.
Just don't be a jerk. It'll make things a lot easier for you if you could just be a nice person. But as far as art goes, if you wanted to be an artist, I've an illustrator, artist, graphic designer, whatever. If you want to work in the mobile industry and do that kind of stuff, it's kind of hard to answer. It's kind of a difficult question to answer because it's like, where do you start? How I would recommend, if you want to do like what I do, which is draw pictures of dwarven warriors and make artwork that grandmas like for slot games. Where I started was just continually practicing, get the sketchbook going, do it every day, draw from life, draw for fun, make your own characters, just do a lot of it. You need to get a lot of mileage doing that sort of stuff. Like, you just got to keep doing it every day. I don't do it enough. I know none of us probably, it's like exercising or eating healthy. Like, it's like,
Sure.
it's a thing, but like similar to the fitness thing, I knew that I had a feeling that, something about art, like if you just apply yourself for a period of time every day, it's a skill and you'll gradually get good at it, as you build experience. And the same thing with fitness. Like, I thought, well, if I just give like an hour a day to this, maybe like in 6 months I'll see results. And I did. And so I think consistency is like the biggest thing. And if you could stick with it and do that, that's a big help. Obviously you're absorbing like tutorials. Like, you don't really need, I went to art school. I got a BFA in fine art. But it's in this day and age, like, I don't know that you need to do that anymore. There's so many resources and online things you can do. But I will say one thing that was really critical for me was in my development was finding a community of artists. And for me, it was like online. There was a website back in the day called conceptart.org. And it was just a bunch of professionals and amateurs. And I would just upload my sketchbook and just share it. And people would give feedback, or upload my college projects and people would give feedback. And I became friends with these people I still talk to, and people who got me jobs, or actually the person who got me into the slot industry, I knew him from that website. So it's a big, community is really important for building and growing that rivalry, also like a friendly rivalry of like us trying to like push each other to get better. But also like connections later on. So those are the two things. Like, just practice your freaking butt off and apply yourself. And then also find community, find your people who are going to support you and encourage you. And also like, take criticism from those people. And, those are the biggest things, the biggest developmental things for me, and things that are still like real in my life now. I need to get in my sketchbook more, and I need to be in community with artists more than I ever have been. So.
Great tips. So Ryan, where would people find you if they were looking to see some of this amazing artwork, see your incredible collection of retro games and toys? I know there's 2 spots, and I'll have them in the liner notes. But why don't you tell us where can people find you on the interwebs, in the social medias?
Yeah, you can go to Instagram at Ryan Bowlin, or that's for my art accounts. And if you want to follow my geeky account only, at Papa Pixel, that's what they call me in the gaming space.
But I would highly recommend following them in both spots, because both are very entertaining in of itself. Yes, 100%. Yeah,
it's a good time. If you want to go to my website and see a portfolio or any of that stuff too, just ryanbowlin.com. We'll get you to all that stuff as well. But yeah, that's where I'm out there sharing my life. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have any projects or anything cool that I'm working on. I just
not yet. Do you have anything planned?
Dude enjoying life.
Anything planned?
No. No. I mean, I thought about doing some sort of I've thought about doing like some sort of gaming podcast or something, or just something that's more for me, and something and just to talk like I'm doing with you, just talking with guys who love geeky stuff like I do. That's something I've always kind of wanted to do. Maybe find a way to twist that into art. But yeah, I work full time. I would love to like eventually someday
do some
children's books.
Yeah. Children's books would be awesome. You have a great style. I would actually love to see your style in a children's book. I mean, I think it lends itself really, really well to it. Yeah.
I would love to. I think that's for me, like, as far as like what's next of what I want to do. Someday I'd love to work on kids' books, or maybe even write a couple little books for myself. It doesn't have, I don't know if I could venture all the way into that. That would be a cool career path, I think. Something I always wanted to do.
Nothing will stop you. Nothing can stop you if you put your mind to it, man. Nothing. As I like to say, it's Only improbable, not impossible. So,
Well, thanks for the encouragement. I appreciate it.
I got you, man. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I really, really appreciate it. And I really hope, as we said before, to send everybody to go check out Ryan's work at ryanbowlin.com and at Ryan Bowlin, and check out his awesome retro gaming and collectible collection at Papa Pixel. On the Instagrams, because it's great stuff. I love following it, and it's helped me stay in touch with you, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk today and reconnect a little bit. So thanks so much for being here.
So good to talk to you again, and hopefully it'll be a shorter amount of time between
exactly.
we talked.
Exactly. We'll do a follow up. That's to see where things are at.
Or maybe we'll play some racing games on Xbox where I know I can kick your butt.
Oh, easily. But anytime, it's fine. I actually love playing online with friends, so it's cool.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Cheers.
See ya.
That's this week's episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast. As always, thanks for being awesome. And if you haven't yet, make sure to give us a follow. Till next time. If you haven't downloaded my free ebook, 5 Heroic Leadership Skills, click on the link in the description. Tune in next week for your next episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast. Thank you. Oh, hi there. The episode's over, but thanks for sticking around till the end. If you're on the quest to elevate your team's leadership, production, or game design capabilities, I'm here to assist. Leveraging extensive experience and a strategic approach, I offer personalized audits, bespoke workshops, and leadership retreat facilitation to drive your team toward excellence. My commitment is to provide efficient, reliable, and proven support, ensuring you have the tools and insights needed to thrive. Ready to unlock your team's full potential and achieve unparalleled success? Don't hesitate to press start on your journey to transformation today. Feel free to reach out directly to discuss how we can tailor a solution to meet your unique needs and goals. Let's connect and take your team's performance to the next level.